Hi, I'm Michelle, and in this video we are going to demonstrate step by step how to change the hardware and the front wheel of your Zoom 360 Ultralight or your Zoom Single.
Before assembling, please note that this kit contains small parts. Keep children away from the stroller and from the small parts during the repair procedure. Once you receive your Joovy repair kit, unfold the stroller and engage the rear wheel brakes. Rest the stroller on the parent handlebar. Then, lock the front swivel wheel in place. Remove the protective sleeve from the end of the screwdriver and discard it. Under the footrest, unscrew the 4 screws located on each side. Be sure to keep these 4 screws aside. These will be used later. Next, flip down the footrest. Use the 17mm end of the wrench. Hold the fork with one hand to loosen the nut, so the wheel doesn't fall when you remove the nut. Once the nut is off, remove the top washer from the fork post before removing the fork from the frame. Then, remove the bearing from the frame. Remove all remaining parts from the fork post, including the sleeve, the second bearing, the 18mm washer, and the 22mm washer. Please discard all of these original parts that have been removed from the fork. Next, remove the bearings and all replacement parts from their poly bags and arrange them on a floor or a table. First, Part 1, the 22mm washer. Part 2, the thin 18mm washer. Part 3, one of the bearings. Part 4, the metal sleeve. Part 5, the other bearing. Part 6, the other 18mm washer. And Part 7, the nut. To assemble and reinstall the fork, unlock the front swivel wheel. Place parts 1 through 4 on the fork post in this order. Part 1, the 22mm washer. Part 2, the thin 18mm washer. Part 3, the bearing. Remember to place it with the wide side towards the wheel. And Part 4, the metal sleeve. With parts 5 through 7 in one hand, insert the fork into the stroller frame. Then place Part 5, the second bearing, on the fork post with the wide side away from the wheel. Add Part 6, the 18mm washer, and Part 7, the nut, with the nylon side facing away from the wheel. Turn the nut clockwise a couple of times. Then place one single drop of Loctite onto the fork post, just below the nut. Once the Loctite has been placed, tighten the nut. You should be able to rotate the fork assembly 360 degrees without resistance. If there is resistance, loosen the nut until the fork assembly can spin freely. Next, lock the front swivel wheel. Then flip close the footrest. Align the holes of the footrest with the holes for the 4 screws we put aside before. Place all 4 screws in their respective holes in the frame and lightly screw them in. Once they are all in place, tighten them all. Lastly, lift up the stroller into its use position. Be sure to give the Loctite 24 hours to cure before using the stroller. After this 24-hour period, unlock the front swivel wheel, disengage the brake, and push the stroller around to ensure it's functioning properly. If you have any questions, feel free to visit our website or call our customer service line. Thank you.